Bonjour, Kinamagi Nene Ireland Editionicast, and welcome to the latest episode of the My Math Network. Today's episode, Chapter 12, Lesson 10, Hands-on, Building Composite Figures. The essential question for all of Chapter 12. How does geometry help me solve problems in everyday life? In order to complete today's task, you will need the Lesson 10 packet. And it begins on page 961. You may also choose to have some unit cubes available if you prefer the hands-on method here. If you need to get either of those items, feel free to pause the video and unpause it when you're ready. Welcome back to those who needed to pause the video. And we are going to start here on 961. You see a highlighted word. And it says a composite figure is made up of two or more three-dimensional figures. And as you can see here, I have a rectangular prism on the bottom and a rectangular prism on the top. So let's look at the steps here. And remember, you should fill this in as we go. That way you have this to look back on. It also helps you be engaged with the lesson. And if you have questions, you'll be able to ask them. So looking at step one, count the number of cubes needed to make the base layer. The base is the bottom. And we can look and see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I used 8 cubes. Now the top layer, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I could put them together, and that would give me 12. This is an additive situation. We're going to add them together. So make sure those are written in. This is pretty straightforward. How many cubes are on each layer? Add them together. There we go. If this happened to be a 4 by 2 by 2, you would still with the base, except you would have a little bit. You'd have 16 instead of 8. I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen. And just as a reminder, whenever I say I'm going to clear the screen, if you need to quickly pause the video to continue writing, feel free to do such. Let's go ahead and clear it. Let's go talk about it here. We're having an issue with technology today. I'm going to pause the video. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back in a moment. Welcome back to WMRI TV 5 Mount Pleasant. Sure. We have a station ID. I think we've got the gremlins in the website worked out. So let's move forward. Talk about it. It says a composite figure is shown below. And you've seen that figure above. How many cubes does it take to build the figure? And if you looked at the math you just did, it was 12. So what is the volume in cubic centimeters? If you think back to our previous lesson, the number of cubes equals the volume. They're all cubic centimeters. So we have 12 cubic centimeters. Write that on in. I know let's talk about it, but I think it's good to have that reminder that you can look back on in this situation. Good, write that in. Once you're done, you can turn to 962. I'm going to go ahead and clear the drawing. And I'm also going to go to 962. So let's try it. Separate the composite figure into two rectangular prisms. Which is the same figure. So they're kind of breaking this down here. Find the volume of the top prism. The top prism is going to be 2 by 2 by 1. I'm going to show that just so for you. And anytime you multiply 2 times 2, it's 4. And then the identity property states anytime you multiply anything by 1, it's whatever that number was. So 4 times 1 is 4. So the top part is 4 cubic centimeters. Please write that in. What we're really looking at now is going from blocks to formula. You're going to need the formula, particularly in tomorrow's lesson, in lesson 11. And realistically, you're going to need the formula quite frequently for pretty much the rest of your academic career. So now that you should have that written in, let's go ahead to the next slide. I'm still on the same page, step 2. Now we're going to look at the bottom prism, the base. And I can see that I have 4 times 2 times 1, which is going to give me 8 times 1 is 8. So the bottom is 8 cubic centimeters. 8 plus 4 is 12. And it matches what we did when we counted them just a few moments ago. So go ahead and write that in. Give you about 15 to 20 seconds. And then we'll go down to the talk about it here. If you need any more time to write, you feel free to pause the video and then pause it when you're ready. So I'm going to go to the talk about it and talk about it. You're welcome to write this down by pausing the video, writing it down, but you're not obligated to. In class, it's more of a discussion part. So how can you use addition to find the volume of composite figure? Well, you've kind of seen this in action. You separate the figure into 2 or more prisms, aka sections that are going to have similar length and width, and find the volume of them and then add it. Just like you found the 4 and the 8 and you put together and got 12, that's exactly what we're talking about here. Explain how I'd find the volume of the composite figure shown below. Well, let's see here. We have a 4 by 4 by 1, so that's going to give you 16. Then you have a 4 by 1 by 1 across the top. That's going to make it 20 overall. And then you have 2 individual 1 by 1 by 1s. You're going to put them together and you're going to get 22. So you have 4 prisms, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Add them all together. And we kind of just gave this one away. It was 22 cubic centimeters. So go ahead and write that in. And we're going to go on to the practice in here. So turn to 963. You'll do these problems by pause. Once I go over the directions, you'll pause the video, you'll do the problem, and then you'll unpause it to check your answer here. We're going to do 6 and 7 together. We'll do 9 and 10 together. For sure, and then we might move on a little further there. All right, it says use the model at the right to build the composite figure using centimeter cubes. So separate the figure into prisms, make a drawing of each prism to build the composite figure. So you can kind of draw it out on there. And then how many cubes and what is the volume? Remember the relationship for how many cubes to the volume. All right, you may pause the video now. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. So you can see how you drew the 3 by 3, 3 by 1. So that's 9 plus 3 is 12 cubes. So your 12 cubic centimeters is your volume. Let's scroll on down here a little bit to 9 and 10. Do the same thing, but now you're going to have 1, 2, and 3 different prisms. You may pause the video now. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. We've got 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 2 is 8. 12 and 8 is 20. Plus 4 by 1 is 4. 24. 24 cubes, 24 cubic centimeters. All right, so let's go on to the back, 964. We're going to continue on here with a little more practice. We have centimeter cubes into the figure shown here. You have a 4 by 3, and then you have a 2 by 1 by 2. And so separate the figure into prisms, make a drawing of each prism, similar to what we just did, and check your answer by building a model. What is the volume? Go ahead, pause the video now. Welcome back. If you chose to build the model, congratulations. I know not everyone has these available. So let's look at our answers. Let's see this. And 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 1 is 4, times 2 is 8, 12 and 8 is 20. And one last one. Let's look at number 14. Which of these has a volume of 24 cubic centimeters? Take a moment by pausing the video, checking out, and come back when you're ready. I'm gonna pause the video now. Welcome back. And it's this one, the 4x4, which is gonna be 16. This is 4x2, which is 8. 16 and 8 is 24. All right, taking a brief look at the assignment. Remember, you have the homework helper. You can use this figure to help solve this. You don't necessarily have to use cubic blocks, but if you have them available, you're welcome to use them. And remember where your vocabulary check comes from. When you've completed the assignment, make sure you turn it in class with your name on it. It's easy to grade if you have your name on it, trust me. If you are doing this from home, you may scan it with your name on it and send it to me at my email, which I'll share in just a second. Or you may take a picture and text both sides to me with your name on both sides so I don't have any issues. And we'll start from there. My email address again is mireland@sagchipschool.net. Hope you all have a minogijigad, minwa, pamapi.